I remember when I first started running, which I started to do probably when I was 19, 20, like a 5K would be like, well, it was pretty good, 6K. But, then just as I've done more and I've done some bigger weeks, like over lockdown, did a 98 or 97K week, which I would have never thought possible before. But it's just like in your mind, you just start to level up and you start to get more comfortable with bigger distances. And it's the same thing swimming as well. Have you found that that's been the case over the last like 6 years or so?
Yeah, I remember when I was competitive swimming, so I used to swim mainly in the pool and do all that type of stuff. When a coach would write up on the board that we're going to do a 5K set, I was like, oh my God, this is going to hurt so much. Like,
yeah,
I'm going to be exhausted. There's no way I can get through 5Ks. And now if I see a 5K set, I'm like, oh, like, that's okay. Like, you can do that easily. It's going to take like an hour or so. But then it's funny because now if I saw a like 10K set, like in my mind now, I'd still be like a little bit like, oh, whoa, like that's pretty far. Whereas then if I keep swimming like this, then maybe one time I'm going to look at the 10K and be like, oh, that's an easy training day. Like, whatever, like you can do that. And it was funny because the longest I'd swum in the ocean straight before I did the swim was, I think maybe 8K or something like that. Like it wasn't far at all. And when Dad mentioned to me like a year or two ago, he's like, oh, do like the 10K Williamtown swim. And I was like, 10K is no way. I can't swim 10Ks in the ocean. I was like, that's ridiculous. And he was like, oh, I'll give it a try. I was like, no way. No, I can never swim 10Ks in the ocean. And then, I skipped 10Ks and went straight to 20Ks. And I was like, oh, 10Ks is easy now. Like I can go do 10Ks next year, like whatever. So it's funny that all of a sudden I was watching this video about how everyone has this little comfort zone circle around them. And each time you do something outside of that, it just grows bigger and bigger. And I feel like during COVID and lockdown, everyone's kind of comfort zone or circle shrunk so much more because we didn't go out, we didn't see people, we didn't exercise as much. We didn't really do anything that was a bit uncomfortable. Whereas after that swim, I feel like my things that I can put inside my comfort zone is so much more. Like I could be like, I can do a 21K run. It's not going to hurt that much. I'm not running for 7 hours. Or I'm being like, I can go out and ride for 5 hours. I don't mind that anymore. Like everything's going to be fine. Like you know what you can do, you know what your mind can do, and you know how to sit in your mind for 7 hours a day. So I'm almost like, that's fine. What's the worst that can happen?
Yeah, I find a lot of enjoyment in expanding that comfort zone as well. When I first started running clinics, I consider it young, but I was 20. First one I did, I was probably 25, and we had probably a dozen people there, and I'd never run any before, and so I was like, had to come up with the whole thing, and I was so nervous going into it, and like I'd planned it, meticulously for the whole week before it, and I was just so nervous about the whole thing, and it went okay. I don't think it was amazing, but it was like, it really gave me the sweats just before it, and I was presenting to adults. A lot of them were in their 40s and 50s, and I had this complex where it's like, why would they want to listen to me? Like they probably know more about it than I do. But you do it enough times, and then you just get comfortable speaking to people and delivering in front of bigger groups and that sort of thing. And we had clinics in New Zealand probably 2 years ago now, and there was I think they were like pretty sort of big group clinics of maybe 30 or 40 swimmers each, and we had like 3 of those in a day. So over the course of like 100 and something people at these clinics, and like it was awesome. Like it just got a lot of energy from it, and just for me personally as well, like it felt great to be able to do that in front of so many people. And I was a bit nervous. You always get that if there's bigger groups, but I really enjoy that part of just trying to get better and grow as a person. And I've had a similar thing surfing. So last Friday there was really big swell, and I went in probably the biggest waves I've been, and like on the face it was 12 foot pretty easily, and it was out there. But it's just like, if you focus on your breathing, and I've sort of been watching, there's a surf coach that I really like, and he's talked about this. It's like, don't spend all your energy paddling out, just relax. You'll eventually get out there, the water will sort of make its way through, and you'll get out there, and then you just got to focus on your breathing, and like just as you're paddling into a wave, you've got to relax. It's very similar to swimming. Like as soon as you're trying to muscle it, and you're tense, like you're not going to move well or perform well.
Yeah.
So and then after that, I feel like, all right, I'm comfortable here, and I can start to do more with it. And it's it's learning about those things and kind of getting the skills and the education around what does it require to go to the next level with it. That's all part of the journey.